So many of us look up at the moon, and this Sunday, the moon is giving us a special show. In fact, a total lunar eclipse. Here to talk about why this weekend's moon is just so special and the ongoing effort to return Americans to the moon is NASA expert Andrea Jones. She's a science communicator for NASA. Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning.
So can you tell us what makes Sunday night's moon just so special?
Well, this whole weekend, we'll have a beautiful, big, bright full moon. But on Sunday, it will be extra special because we'll have a total lunar eclipse. So the sun, the earth, and the moon will line up in space. And at around 9:30 p.m. Central, the moon will begin entering the deepest part of the earth's shadow. So it'll start looking like the moon has a bite taken out of it. And then around 10:30 p.m., the moon will enter the darkest part of Earth's shadow, and it will turn a brilliant coppery, bright red color that'll be just a treat to look at.
So you said the moon's going to be turning red during the lunar eclipse. Can you tell us why exactly it's going to turn that red shade?
Sure. So the moon turns red during a lunar eclipse for kind of a cool reason. So when the moon passes into Earth's shadow, the Earth blocks most of the light from the sun, but the sun that does come through passes through a huge stretch of Earth's atmosphere. This means that the sunrises and sunsets that you see with the red light are what is projected onto the lunar surface. So that red that we see at sunrise and sunsets, all of those sunrises and sunsets on Earth are being projected onto the moon during a lunar eclipse, turning it a beautiful red color.
Oh, wow, that is so fascinating. So we sent people to the moon with the Apollo program, and now we're going back with the Artemis. What are we doing right now to get ready?
We are doing a whole lot. Sending people back to the moon with Artemis is a big endeavor. And one mission I work with, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, has been helping us get ready for almost 13 years now. So we've been mapping the moon in great detail, imaging its surface, tracking how temperatures change on the surface, monitoring the radiation environment, and also hazards we want to avoid, resources we might want to make use of, and where we should send our astronauts. So we're sending new scientific instruments to the moon with commercial partners. We're getting ready to launch Artemis 1, which will not have any astronauts on it, and then looking forward to Artemis 2, sending people around the moon before we get back to the lunar surface with our astronauts.
Wow, that is a lot going on. So can you tell us, how does our moon help us better understand other planets and moons in our solar system?
Sure. So the moon's surface is nearly pristine. We do see some changes going on, but most of its history is still present. So we can look at the moon and see almost 4.5 billion years of solar system history. We can see what processes happened there and how that shaped the lunar surface. And when we look at Mercury or Venus or Pluto or anywhere in between, we're really looking to the moon to understand what we're seeing on those other worlds.
Oh, wow. So final question, where can our viewers go to learn more about the moon?
Check out moon.nasa.gov for lots of information about lunar science. And we're also going to have a link there for a NASA Science Live broadcast during the eclipse.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Andrea Jones. We really do appreciate your time. So for more on this lunar eclipse, let's now listen in to Anthony Yanez.
We have a really cool sight in the sky Sunday night. It's the total lunar eclipse, or blood moon. It's visible over the entire United States. First, here's what's happening. I'm going to bring in the sun and the earth. Now, the earth, as it spins on its axis, separates day and night. On Sunday night, the full moon, as it rotates around our planet, will enter the earth's shadow. The outer part of the shadow is called the penumbra. Here, the earth is partially blocking the sun's light. It's an imperfect alignment. Now, during a total lunar eclipse or blood moon, the sun, earth, and moon perfectly align. Here the moon enters the earth's umbra. Umbra is Latin for shadow. In the umbra, the moon turns a blood red or copperish orange because that is the only color of the atmosphere that's able to get onto the surface. So if you were on the surface of the moon and looked at our planet, you would see every sunrise and sunset at the same time. Now, during an eclipse, this is the only color that gets refracted onto the surface of the moon. So here's what you need to know. Depending on wildfires, volcanic activity, that'll change the color from a reddish or an orange orangish color, you do not need glasses. But here's the time. This is important. Sunday night, the partial eclipse begins at 9:28. That's when it enters the penumbra. But the time to really see it is during totality. So the total eclipse begins at 10:29. If you're going to pick one time to see it, when it's going to be the deepest red color you have, that's going to be at maximum eclipse, 11:12. That's the time to see it. But otherwise, you have 85 minutes to see the moon turn a different color, a red or an orange, and then the partial eclipse ends at 12:56 in the morning. And I think this is the quintessential eclipse photo. This is from Mike Musil from Mike Musil Photography. He captured in time-lapse the entire partial eclipse to total eclipse, the blood moon, all the way out of the partial phase. And of course, you had the blue bonnets. This was taken in 2014, April 15th, and you just got to see it on Sunday night. Hopefully, you can stay up.